The moment I stepped into the marble foyer, I knew something was wrong. The air smelled like jasmine and iron. A low hum vibrated through the walls. Cairo's heat clung to my skin like wet silk. The maid would not meet my eyes. She took my bag with trembling hands. "Welcome, Mrs. Almansour," she whispered, voice dry as paper. My name sounded foreign in her mouth. I nodded, unsure whether to speak or smile. This was not how honeymoons were meant to feel. Omar had said he bought the villa for us. A wedding gift, he called it. Private, exclusive, away from the city noise. But the silence here was worse. Too quiet, like the house was holding its breath. He had money, too much of it. Oil, real estate, shipping, and secrets. At the wedding, guest kisses ring. I married him anyway, because he looked at me like he owned the stars. The staircase curved like a serpent. Each step creaked beneath his Italian leather shoes. He showed me the rooms with pride. Gold fixtures, velvet drapes, thick carpets underfoot. But I kept looking for the windows. They were all too high to see out, or sealed behind heavy curtains. "This is where you stay," he said, voice soft but final. The bedroom was cold despite the heat. Lavender filled the air, but something bitter lingered beneath. That night, I dreamed of chains rattling. When I woke, my door was locked from the outside. I pounded on it, screamed his name. No one came, not even the maid. By day 3, I stopped asking questions. He brought me breakfast on a silver tray. Eggs, fruit, and pills I did not recognize. "Just vitamins," he said with that smooth smile. I flushed them when he left. There were no clocks, no internet, no phone. Only books in Arabic I could not read, and the quiet hum behind the walls, like something alive and breathing. I found a small crack near the wardrobe, pressed my eye to it, saw only shadows moving in another room, and heard a sob, short, sharp, swallowed quickly. That night, I tested every wall, tapping for hollows, listening for echoes. One panel near the mirror sounded different. I pried at it with a spoon. Behind it, a staircase curled down like a spine. Dark, narrow, unfinished stone. I lit a candle from the dresser. Each step I took felt colder. My breath clouded in the air despite the heat. The smell hit first. Rot, mildew, something wet and old. Then the sound. Not rats, not pipes. A human voice. I reached the bottom. The candle flickered against damp walls. Chains rattled again. This time not in a dream. And someone whispered, "Is someone there?" My skin crawled. I turned toward the voice. A figure crouched in the corner, thin, filthy, hair matted to her face. She looked up. I dropped the candle. It sputtered but stayed lit. The woman was wearing a wedding dress. Ripped, stained, years old. She crawled forward like an animal. "He keeps us here," she said. My mouth opened, but no words came. She grabbed my wrist. Fingers like bird bones. There were 5 of us. I stumbled back, ran up the stairs, bolted the panel shut. My heart thundered in my chest. What had I just seen? At dinner, I stared at Omar. He poured wine like nothing had happened. His cufflinks caught the light. I looked at his hands. Steady, smooth, deadly. "How was your day?" he asked. I smiled, forced it like a blade between my teeth. "Peaceful," I said. He raised his glass. Later, in bed, he touched my cheek. His fingers were ice. "You are special to me," he whispered. "I knew the moment I saw you." His breath smelled like cloves and lies. When he slept, I watched him, eyes half-lidded, mouth slightly open. He looked almost human. Almost. I crept from bed and locked myself in the bathroom. I turned on the faucet to cover the sound, then whispered into the drain. "I need help." No response, just gurgling pipes. Still, I repeated it every night. On the 7th day, the maid came. She brought towels in silence. As she turned to leave, I touched her arm. She flinched, I placed a note in her hand. She did not look at it, just nodded once. The next morning, the locks were gone. My door creaked open, and on the tray beside my eggs was a phone. Just a cheap flip phone. No apps, no camera. One contact saved. I dialed with shaking hands. It rang once. Then a voice. Low, tired female. Who is this? I hesitated. My name is Layla. Silence. Then she whispered, I hope one of you would call. And the line went dead. The next morning, the phone was gone. So was the tray. So was the maid. My heart thudded against my ribs. I had not dreamed it. I searched every drawer, every corner. Nothing but linen, silk, and dust. The door stayed unlocked this time. But the hallway outside felt colder. Like the walls knew I had broken a rule. At breakfast, Omar stared longer than usual. His smile never reached his eyes. You slept well, he asked. I nodded, forced my lips to curve. He tapped the edge of his glass. I hope you are settling in. I said nothing. He studied me like a hunter watching prey. Then he stood. Enjoy your freedom, Layla. His footsteps echoed down the corridor. I counted each one. 12. Then silence. Then the low hum returned. I wandered the halls. The house seemed larger than before. Endless doors. Rooms filled with antiques and locked cabinets. One door was ajar. It led to a study. Thick carpets, mahogany shelves. The air smelled like tobacco and secrets. On the desk sat a leather-bound book. I opened it with trembling fingers. Photos. Women in white dresses. Each page had a name. Dates. And a short note. Salma. Quiet, beautiful, obedient. Amira. Artistic, fragile, clumsy. Zara. Pregnant, emotional, disobedient. I stopped breathing. The last page was blank. My hand shook. I heard the floor creak. I snapped the book shut. Spun around. No one was there. I backed out of the study. Ran to my room. Locked the door. Sank to the floor. Something moved in the mirror. Not my reflection. Behind it, a shape just for a second, then gone. I crawled toward it. Pressed my ear to the glass. Faint breathing. Soft, slow, not mine. I whispered, Are you there? No answer, but the air grew colder. That night, I slept with the light on. I dreamed of blood running down the marble stairs. At dawn, I found a note under my pillow. No handwriting, just one word. Tonight, my pulse roared in my ears. I waited all day, pretended to read, pretended to eat. Omar watched me, but said nothing. At midnight, I returned to the hidden panel, pulled it open. The stairs waited like open jaws. I descended again, candle flickering, heart pounding. The smell was worse this time, like meat left in the sun. The girl was still there. She stood now, barefoot, eyes wild. You came back, she said. I nodded. What is your name? She hesitated, then whispered, Farah? How long? I asked. 5 years, she said. My stomach turned. Her wrists were raw. The chain gleamed under the candlelight. There are others, she added. Where? Below. She pointed to a rusted door. I hesitated. She looked at me. I can show you. I took her hand. It felt like paper. Together, we opened the door. The air rushed out. Thick, sour, warm. Stairs again. This time rough stone. Water dripped somewhere in the dark. We descended, deeper than before. The sound of chains echoed ahead. Then a voice. Then two. A room opened before us. Small, windowless, damp. 3 women sat on blankets. Skin pale, eyes hollow. They turned when we entered. Another one whispered. She is new, said another. I wanted to scream. Instead, I whispered, Why are you here? They stared at me. He collects us. The eldest said, like dolls. Each had a scar. Neck, wrist, face. Why not run? I asked. The youngest looked away. He always finds us. Farah's grip tightened on my hand. We need you. My throat closed. What do you mean? You are the only one he trusts. You have not been marked yet. You can get out. I backed away, up the stairs. Farah followed. The candle sputtered. I slammed the rusted door shut. In my room, I sobbed. The walls pulsed. The silence pressed on my chest. I could not breathe. I had to get out. The next day, I searched for keys. No keys. I searched for the maid. No maid. Only Omar. He brought roses. Said nothing. Watch me read. Watch me breathe. Watch me bleed inside. That night, the mirror cracked. No sound. Just a thin split across the glass. I touched it. It sliced my finger. A drop of blood ran down. Then vanished. Into the crack. I stepped back. Something moved behind the glass again. I turned away and saw her, Farah, in the hallway, mouth open in a silent scream. She pointed to the stairs, then vanished, like smoke. I followed, feet silent on marble. The panel was open, the candle already lit. Voices below, softer now, like a prayer. But someone else was down there, someone breathing heavier, heavier than the rest. I froze. Then I saw the shadow, larger, closer, coming up the stairs. My candle flickered. I turned to run, but he was already there. He grabbed my arm before I could scream. His fingers clamped down like metal. I dropped the candle. Darkness swallowed the stairs. He did not speak. I kicked, twisted, bit his wrist. He dragged me anyway, up the steps, back through the panel, into my room. He slammed the door, locked it with a key I had never seen, then turned. His eyes were dead, his voice calm. You are not like the others. I backed into the dresser. My legs shook. He stepped closer. His breath smelled like decay. I gave you everything. He threw the cracked mirror to the floor. Glass shattered across the rug. You went down there? I said nothing. He raised his hand, but stopped, just stared, then whispered. They always ruin it. He left without another word. The lock clicked behind him. I dropped to the floor. Glass pressed into my knees. I did not feel it. Farah appeared in the corner, silent. She pointed to the broken mirror. Behind it, the crack had deepened. Now I saw metal. I crawled forward, pushed aside the frame. A square panel of steel. No screws. Just a keyhole. Farah vanished. The room trembled. I scooped the shards into a cloth. My hands bled. I did not care. At dawn, the lock clicked again. Omar brought tea. A smile stretched too wide. I overreacted, he said. His eyes dared me to disagree. I sipped the tea. It was bitter. Too bitter. I waited until he left, then dumped it in the sink. That night, I searched his study. Every drawer. Every pocket. I found the key beneath the globe, wrapped in velvet. It felt cold. Heavy. Important. I returned to the mirror, fit the key into the metal panel. It turned with a soft click. The wall opened. A narrow crawl space stretched beyond. Wires lined the ceiling. Pipes dripped overhead. I pulled myself through. The floor scraped my elbows. The air tasted like copper. A red light blinked ahead. Then a door. I pushed it open and found the truth. Screens. Dozens of them. Each one showing a room. All underground. All live feeds. All the women. Farah, Zara, Amira, Salma. Even me. Cameras in my room. In the mirror. In the vents. My voice caught in my throat. He was always watching. I moved toward the desk. A switchboard, labeled in Arabic. Buttons, toggles, monitors. A file sat beside it. I opened it. Photos. birth certificates, passports, medical charts. All women, all victims, all vanished. One page had a headline: 5 wives missing. Billionaire denies involvement. He had lied. To them, to me, to everyone. I heard footsteps. I froze. Omar's voice floated down the crawl space. Low, controlled. I warned you. I scanned the desk. Found a small phone. No signal. Only one number stored. I pressed it. It rang. Once. Twice. Then someone answered. A woman. Her voice shook. Layla? Yes. I whispered. I found them all. Silence. Then she said, I am outside. A crash echoed behind me. He had found the open panel. I grabbed the phone. Ran through another door. A staircase. Rusty, steep. Led deeper. I had no choice. I ran. My lungs burned. My feet slipped. He followed. Closer. Faster. The walls narrowed. The sound of water grew louder. I burst into a chamber. Low ceiling. Stone floor. Farah was there. So were the others. Eyes wide. Terrified. But ready. I turned. Omar stood in the doorway. Breathing hard. Holding something in his hand. A syringe. You are ruining everything. He stepped forward. The women backed away. But I did not. I stepped between him and them. No more, I said. He smiled. Then die with them. He lunged. I ducked. Farah threw a chain. It hit his face. He stumbled. Zara grabbed a pipe. Struck his arm. The syringe flew across the room. Shattered. Liquid hissed on the floor. He screamed. Like an animal. We ran. Up another stairwell. Blind in the dark. Hands scraping walls. He followed. I could hear him. Snarling. Bleeding. Raging. But slower now. We burst into the wine cellar. Moonlight streamed through a grate. Zara found the latch. It creaked open. Cold night air rushed in. Sirens echoed. Red and blue lights flashed. The woman from the phone stood by the gate. She held a badge. And a gun. She shouted. Down on the ground. Omar appeared. Staggering. Covered in blood. He smiled at her. Then whispered, Sister. She lowered her gun. And said, I know. She said, I know. Then lowered the gun. And walked straight to him. Omar reached for her face. She did not flinch. Farah pulled me back. The other women huddled in the corner. The sirens faded. The air thickened. Like the night held its breath. You called her. I whispered. Farah nodded. She was one of us once. My stomach twisted. She escaped. The woman turned. Eyes locked on me. She was older than I thought. But her voice, cold, steady, sharp. His empire ends tonight. Omar laughed. Even bleeding, even broken. He looked invincible. He looked like death in a suit. I built everything, he snarled. I chose them. I saved them from themselves. His sister's lip curled. You caged them. You watched them rot. You watched me rot. He stepped forward. She let him, then pressed something into his chest. A blade. Short. Silver. Fast. He gasped. Farah screamed. The women stepped back. His knees hit the dirt. He looked confused, like no one had ever heard him before. His blood soaked the cellar floor. Thick, dark. Steam rose into the cold air. He tried to speak, but she knelt beside him, whispered something in his ear. His eyes widened, then went still. He stopped moving. The silence pressed against my ears. No wind, no sound. Even the crickets waited. The woman stood. Now you know, she said. Her hands were steady. Her eyes wet. She looked at me. You freed them. I could not. I tried to speak, but nothing came. Farah held my hand. It was shaking. Then I heard it, a phone ringing. Not mine, Omar's, still buzzing in his coat pocket. The woman reached for it, glanced at the screen, froze. Her voice cracked. No one should have this number. She answered, her face drained of color. She listened, eyes darting to the shadows. Then she said 2 words. Yes, mother. She ended the call, dropped the phone. It shattered against the floor. No one breathed. She knows. The woman stepped back. We are not done. What do you mean? I asked. She is the one who started it. Farah gasped. She sold us. To him. To his friends. Long before the mansion. The woman nodded. She made the list, picked the girls, signed the checks. She raised a monster. I staggered to a wall. My head spun. My pulse roared. Omar was not the beginning. He was only the middle. She called this place the archive. Every girl had a file. She kept the originals. In the city? Underground. More women? I asked. The woman did not answer. She handed me a key. Heavy, rust-stained, shaped like a star. I cannot go back, she said. She watches me. But you? She does not know your voice yet. She does not know your face. Farah stepped forward. I will go with her. The woman hesitated, then nodded. You will need this. She reached into her jacket, pulled out a flash drive. It holds everything. Names, dates, buyers, even politicians. I stared at it. Cold plastic, too small to carry so much evil. She closed my fingers around it. Expose her. Suddenly, the lights went out. The gate slammed shut. We froze, then heard it. A laugh from the shadows. Slow, female, old. You think you're the first? You think this ends here? We ran, back through the cellar, up into the house. The mansion moaned, like it knew, like it remembered. The walls bled, not with blood, but with recordings. Screens flickered alive. All of us. Every room. Every cry. She had been watching too. Not just Omar, but his mother. From her own hidden room. From her own twisted throne. Farah grabbed my arm. Now. We fled through the side door. The others followed. Behind us, the mansion burned. Smoke twisted into the stars. But no fire had started. Only the house collapsing on itself. Like it had waited for his death. Like it wanted to bury the secrets with him. We reached the road. A black van waited. The woman's car. The engine roared. Farah took the wheel. The flash drive burned in my palm. The key weighed down my pocket. The gate to the city rose ahead. And behind it, more shadows, more names, more daughters, more files. And somewhere, she waited, smiling, listening, choosing, because even monsters have mothers.